The Napoleonic Wars, the loss of most colonies, and internal conflicts brought Spain to the brink of ruin. In 1836, under the rule of the young Queen Isabel de Bourbon, Spain was but a shadow of the once mighty empire over which the sun never set. The country faced numerous challenges: an outdated education system, a lack of modern industry, conflicts between the intelligentsia and the Catholic Church, as well as widespread social discontent. Alright, something's clearly bothering him. In today's episode, however, I'll take on the ambitious task of rebuilding the Spanish colonial empire. From this guide, you'll learn how to swiftly reclaim Spanish colonies, build a powerful army and navy, and step-by-step reform the nation, ideally without triggering rebellions, restoring Spain's prestige on the international stage. Welcome, imperialists. Lucas here. Besides that, Spain is probably one of the most neglected countries by paradox in this game. I really don't know how one of the largest empires in the world doesn't have any special events, missions, or unique creations in the journal. This country doesn't even have any events in the game. Still, I really enjoy playing as Spain. And honestly, this is the country I used to learn how to play Victoria 3 after all the changes in the recent DLCs and patches. If you'd like, I can also prepare an episode about Japan, which is probably the best country for beginners. Let's start, however, by stabilizing the situation in Spain, as the government's power is currently mediocre. Since Isabel supports the intelligentsia, it's a good idea to include her in the government. That's why I'll choose this option. At this stage, I simply get fewer radicals for lowering the standard of living. This could be even better. Unfortunately, my Isabel is a non-ideologue, just like the representative of the intelligentsia. And because Isabel supports the intelligentsia, I can't exile this guy from the country and get someone better here. Sadly, this has quite a negative impact on my ability to pass laws. Until I do something about it, there's no point in reforming the country. If you're going to change anything, it should obviously be the police. At the beginning, this is the best way to weaken the landowners. However, I won't be doing that. Also, don't touch voluntary forced labor, because it guarantees a civil war. With Spain, during the early years, it's better to focus on something else. In terms of scientific research, it's worth unlocking the stock exchange first. The obvious bonuses give us a chance at a reformer. Next, empiricism, as it will improve my schools. Afterward, focus on industry and everything that leads toward mechanical tools, and then railroads. As for the diplomacy of my country, Spain starts with a pro-French lobby, which isn't bad. In fact, it's quite good. I'll be looking for every opportunity to improve relations with France. Meanwhile, the Ottoman Empire becomes my rival on the international stage. It's probably the safest rival in the world. I'll also be improving relations with the British Empire. And that's all for the beginning. I could also show interest in other parts of the world, and here's where I might surprise you. I'm choosing South America and China. Now it's time to focus on the army. This general is retiring because he supports voluntary forced labor. In his place, I'll appoint Benito Garcia, a representative of the intelligentsia and a hedonist. I'm upgrading the cavalry and renaming it as the First Army, leaving the rest as is. This will come in handy soon. I'm almost completely disbanding this 12,000 strong army, except for the artillery, which I'm transferring to the medium army. And I'm renaming it the Invasion Army. My navy is unfortunately in a very poor state. It'll be managed by an army representative who, though a Republican, is also an army organizer. This will make the navy much cheaper to maintain. Budget! Unfortunately, I can't raise taxes, as we have a very unstable government, as you know, but I can impose consumption taxes, such as on services or transportation. I won't touch the rest. I'm also not reducing expenses on bureaucracy, as it would lower my prestige. Likewise, I'm not cutting military spending. The worst part now is dealing with the market and securing a large amount of resources. Ideally, from France. Grain, of course, I'll import from China. That's why I established a sphere of interest there. Although in the end, I don't actually import that much from France, really. And I still haven't solved my timber problem. I don't really have anyone to import it from. So I'll focus first on building sawmills everywhere I can. In such provinces, it's also a good idea to issue a decree to maintain roads. This speeds up construction and increases infrastructure, which I'll struggle with as Spain. Though because I don't have much authority, I'll have to juggle this. Oh well, I'll unpause the game now and see that despite all my efforts, I'm still in the red. There is one law I want to enact: colonies. Specifically exploitative colonies, which everyone actually supports. And if you're wondering why a jingoist appeared here, it's because I restarted the game so many times until they simply showed up. What can I say? Spain is hard anyway. I'll also be improving relations with Portugal. Maybe later I will be able to include it in my block of great powers, because I plan to establish one in the future, but not yet. First, I have a few wars ahead of me. I'm attacking the weakest country in South America, and as you can see, absolutely no one cares about it. I'll double check, but no one is likely to join this war. Oh, who's this? I forgot, I have subject nations, Cuba and the Philippines. I'll immediately improve relations with them, because now the vassal mechanics make sense and you need to maintain positive relations with them. Unlike before, when it was best to worsen them as much as possible. I'll also spend some points to evangelize the Philippines. This will improve our relations, which currently neither improve nor worsen over time. Cuba, on the other hand, is increasingly aligning with me. Great! It's time to prepare a smaller invasion army for now, which will be led by my representative of intelligentsia. Winning battles could positively affect his popularity. If he ever becomes the leader of the intelligentsia, it will strengthen this political movement. 9 regiments for the army, since my navy is still small for now. The war itself is already inevitable. Since I'm running a surplus, I'll prepare for even greater construction efforts. I'll also prepare a landing force because the war has already started. For the 3,000 troops stationed here, my army, which is already on its way, will be more than enough. Landing and victory achieved. To ensure more stability in this region, I will establish my core here. You see, all those institutions only work in provinces where you have created states. Next, I immediately attack Argentina, making it my protectorate. Again, it seems unlikely anyone else will join this war. I'm sending a 17,000 strong army to the front line and another 9,000 will soon commence the landing. Ooh. Unfortunately, the landowners have just formed a new lobby against Great Britain. Not good. At this point, I might as well stop improving relations with Great Britain. I'll start worsening relations with that country instead. Ironically, this might actually make reforming the country easier. An external enemy simplifies a lot. Colonies have been accepted. Honestly, I think I'll take Argentina even without a landing. Now, I need to improve relations with Argentina as quickly as possible. I'll turn my attention to wars in Africa to conquer all of Zululand. There are plenty of gold mines there. Even though the African countries have numerical superiority, the quality of my army handles it just fine. Conquered. I can finally establish my first colony somewhere. Forming an alliance with Portugal might be useful someday. In the meantime, I'm trying to push through a dedicated police force. After conquering more territories in Africa, look, I've gained access to gold-rich fields. Over time, these fields will deplete and I'll have to turn them into regular gold mines. Most importantly, I'm not annexing these provinces into my country, they will remain colonies. You see, as long as it's a colony, we get a 20% mining efficiency bonus, which we can further increase later. Now I need to wait a bit for my tension level to drop and then we'll attack the final area. Great, the French League has just asked me to make Prussia my rival. Unfortunately, I'll probably have to do it. Sorry, Prussia, please don't destroy me. Alright, now that my relations with France have improved a bit, I'll create my power block, a sovereign empire. Look how positively this will affect my vassals. Moreover, I have special upgrades that increase the tribute my vassals pay me. The additional authority is also a bonus. Initially, I'll focus on vassalization upgrades, while the use of block members can come later. Though I'm not entirely sure about this. And now the most important task ahead, creating an epic monument. Something like this will probably reflect my desire for world domination. I'll have an emblem and its name in Spanish will be the Empire on which the sun never sets. I hope this doesn't signal to my future allies that I have bad intentions toward them. I'll use the authority gained from creating this power block to strengthen the industrialists. Immediately, the loyalty of my puppets began to fall more rapidly. I managed to pass the policing law. At the moment, I think that's all the laws I can pass. Yeah. Now I'm attacking Peru-Bolivia, a country that needs to be conquered quickly early on. Thanks to actions from my bloc of states, I've forced military access through Argentina, which temporarily caused half of Argentina to fall under occupation. But that doesn't matter. My armies are pushing forward. Let my armies strike here, heading toward Bolivia's capital. Now all of Bolivia has become my puppet state. Although I didn't take over its puppets, an event should occur soon that will unite the entire region into Peru-Bolivia, giving me one large protectorate. It looks like the process of unifying Italy is beginning as well. I must give this country another chance. It's also time for me to implement a per capita law to increase my income a bit. This seems doable given my government's current state, although it's not entirely stable. The United States of America, with some strange flag, has declared me its rival. What is that weird flag? I've also been able to upgrade education and in turn my colonies. As for education, it's crucial since it's the only way to quickly boost literacy. Oh, and soon I'll transition to steel tools. Finally, I'll establish the entire steel industry in Valencia. I have all the necessary resources there and the population reserves are decent as well. Yes, higher taxes at last. What? It's confirmed. In Paradox Games, taxes drive country development. Since I'm earning so much and running a surplus, I'll start gradually switching to newer construction methods. However, I'll do it in each province separately because I can't afford to overhaul everything at once, but I'd like to improve my construction capabilities. Oh no, the gold fields have started to deplete. I already have coal mines, so I'm switching everything over to atmospheric engines to increase production. Unfortunately, I'm having issues with my further conquests. Great Britain is starting to interfere in all my wars. That's why I've declared them my rival. If they're going to hinder me anyway, maybe they'll at least help me reform my country. Thanks to this, the landowners are pleased, but not pleased enough to allow me to say implement homesteading or abolish voluntary forced labor. However, I'm getting closer to those goals. Alright, I also need sulfur extraction. Okay, here, let's go with 2 levels. and lead mining in Catalonia, perfect. Because while I've got newer production methods, I'm still running short on raw materials. Despite my best efforts, I couldn't form any alliances or defensive pacts with France, nothing. I'm improving my relations as much as I can. I haven't had any events yet, thanks to lobby, to establish one of these pacts. In the meantime, I've gotten a few more lobbying groups and all the events are firing there. Finally! I've been complaining about this and now I've got it. A lobby wants me to form a defensive pact with France. But hey, they're still not going to agree, right? Oh well, I'll keep trying. In the meantime, I'm founding the first Spanish corporation. Which one to choose? Spanish Gold. Although production is currently insufficient, I'm establishing it immediately. A historic moment, the launch of the first steel mill, and a quick shift to steel-based tool production. Somehow I managed to secure a Franco-Spanish defensive pact. This allows me to sign a trade agreement with France, and I'm well on my way to forming an alliance. In the meantime, I joined the Franco-Ottoman War on France's side, demanding investment rights from them. Because there wasn't anything else sensible I could do, I also took advantage of their mistake, where Great Britain is at war and finally attacked Oran myself. There are gold fields there too, and I want that region for myself. As soon as the war started, France's attitude toward me improved and I was very close to securing an alliance. The war with the Ottoman Empire ended quickly. I didn't do much, but I gained what I was owed from it. After many years, I was also able to peacefully reduce Argentina's autonomy, turning it from a protectorate into a dominion. This gives dominions an advantage over protectorates, because I now receive 25% of their income. When I could expand my power block with another edict, I realized that the colonial office had been severely nerfed in the meantime. It used to provide negative 40% infamy generation, now it's only 5%? Not worth taking at all anymore. That's why I decided to upgrade vassalization to the second level. This increases the tribute paid by subject states, which at this point gives me an extra 13,000 cash flow. I'm also switching extraction methods everywhere to atmospheric engines, especially in my gold mines. I should have done this sooner. Speaking of gold mines, I'm starting their construction in this region. And here, surprisingly, I'm not implementing road maintenance. Suppressing unrest will be much more effective here. The higher the unrest, the slower everything builds. I'm also upgrading the schooling institution to level 3 and the police while I'm at it. The number of radicals in my country is becoming dangerously high. My budget is strong enough now that I can expand my navy, mostly light ships, since they're cheaper to maintain and can transport 1,000 troops each. Besides, building a fleet is a great way to increase a country's prestige. Now that I'm earning so much from my gold mines, seriously, I'm making a ton of money from them. I'm upgrading construction methods everywhere to the best available. In the areas where I have gold mines, I'm enacting an edict to boost mining output. And look at this, my gold mines are now 60% more efficient. Wow! Maybe I'll build an even bigger fleet. I'm also building my first explosive production facility, since I'll soon research nitroglycerin, which I plan to use in my gold mines. I was also debating which edict to choose next for the Spanish power block. Should I go with shared construction principles or faster technological development? I think I'll go with faster construction. If you've made it this far, let me know in the comments what you choose. I've managed to climb to the position of the world's 8th greatest power. Awesome! Soon I might even surpass the Ottoman Empire. This is important to me, because the higher my global ranking, the more loyal my subject states are. After researching nitroglycerin, I'm applying it to production methods exclusively in my gold mines as it significantly increases mortality. Wow, a rare opportunity has arisen in Victoria. Portugal is experiencing a rebellion and the best part is that I can defend them and in return they'll become my vassal. Specifically a protectorate. But you know, I play a lot of EU4. I really managed to corner the Portuguese aristocracy here. And let's check. Portugal is now my protectorate, for free with 0 infamy. However, I had to militarily establish Peru as my protectorate. A new country emerged there instead of the usual one and Peru broke away. My country has grown strong enough that I can start marking more nations or places worldwide to focus on in the near future. Maybe I should take an interest in Japan. My economy is already running at full steam, everything is skyrocketing and I'm earning a lot. I'm even building more production facilities. Iron, then gold, and now is the moment to spam factories, furniture, tools and clothes. Although I'm also a bit short on grain, I'm not focusing on that right now. However, my priority has been to build a new, powerful trade fleet because I'm starting to run out of it. My family is growing happily. Hey, the queen has gained weight, oh my god, her heir, some Prince Jose de Bourbon, supports the landowners. That's bad. Alright, the queen is 30 years old, so she'll probably live until the end of the game. Although, to be honest, I wouldn't mind getting rid of that heir. It's curious once again that as I'm passing a law, this time abolishing migration controls, the industrialists immediately want me to implement it. Interesting. It was also interesting to see how much money lowering Portugal's autonomy would give me. Portugal gives me less than Charcas? I'm disappointed. Time to build a few statues in all the provinces where I mine gold. That way, edicts cost less authority. The statues look nice, don't they? Right in the middle of the city. I've also upgraded the second principle of my block to the maximum level. That should give me a company that influences construction speed.
Wow!
This company is so strong, I hadn't noticed it before. Not a construction one though, this one gives 15% innovation. But I can't find the company I got from this principle. It's not on the list.
What the fuck?
I found the corporation. It turns out it's invisible because I don't have the 10 required buildings. Speaking of innovation, it's time to start focusing on it seriously. For now, I have 52% literacy, which isn't bad. It allows me to reach over 130 innovation points at most, so I'm a bit short of the maximum, which means I need to build more universities. I've started with 10, hopefully that will suffice. I'll also try to abolish voluntary forced labor now. Because my relations with Great Britain are so bad, it positively affects how the landowners view me. -7, so it's not a rebellion since it's below 10, and this lobby has a really positive effect on the landowners. Overall, my support among the people is pretty strong. Look at this. Not bad at all. I even stopped supporting the industrialists and the intelligentsia to speed up the process of enacting the law. I want it to pass as quickly as possible. The year 65 is the moment when I need to properly focus on my army. I consolidated it into one force and adjusted all its key aspects to maximize bonuses. I also changed my research to focus on the army's quality. This will be an army fighting on the front lines, so it doesn't need as much cavalry. What matters there are artillery and infantry. I also created a second army, a 30,000 strong force meant for landings and rapid province occupation. For this one, quick recovery, even very quick morale recovery, is key, so I gave it all 3 upgrades. And a third army, which will be a field battle army standing in the line but serving as an auxiliary force. I also created a national guard to defend Spain on the continent. This one needs to have the best possible defense. The third principle of my block will be freedom of movement because I need workers. I have less than 1 million peasants left. Right after expanding the army, I focused on expanding my arms industry, which was obvious. My goal now, unfortunately, will not be to make Brazil a protectorate since it has grown too large. A good method is to liberate as many countries as possible from Brazil. Liberating countries doesn't generate infamy points, and I'll be able to conquer each one individually later. Although I'm hoping this war will be quick. Wow, I didn't expect such losses. What's best is that Brazil surrendered on its own. So no war after all. Instead of one powerful state, I now have several much weaker ones in the region. I'll use this situation to make Madagascar my protectorate. Additionally, I'll demand war reparations from that country. It's worth taking reparations in any war with a protectorate. I totally forgot about that. Returning to the Brazil region, I also forgot that I now need to worsen relations with all the liberated countries since they like me too much. But I really can't keep track of which country does what to join my block of states. So, I'll conquer them the usual way. If anyone knows exactly how this mechanic works, I've read about it but don't understand it, please let me know in the comments. I conquered Madagascar for several reasons. First, there's quite a bit of wood here which I don't need at the moment. Secondly, there's a huge area for building a very large coal mine. I also escalated a larger war because I want to weaken Mexico. This was only possible through actions involving New Granada. Unfortunately, Mexico has an alliance with France. Additionally, Belgium got involved in this war, but I think they'll regret it. After many efforts, I finally managed to abolish voluntary labor. Now everyone has to be paid. I also noticed that the pool of capitalists is now very close to the pool of aristocrats. Additionally, I have a large number of intellectuals, so I'll try to pass a law for wealthy voting rights. Something strange happened. Mexico surrendered but didn't release anything to me.
What?
I won the war, but unfortunately, I ended up heavily in debt. The best way to quickly pay off the debt is privatizing companies. I'll even privatize mines. I also advanced the migration principle of my block to level 3. This should enable mass migrations to my country. I regret not doing this earlier because I have a huge problem with workers. Amazonia conquered, too easy. Same with Minas Gerais. Will Brazil surrender without a fight because it's scared? No, Brazil will fight. I think I had even planned a landing here, but I'm not sure if it'll be necessary. Too easy war. And basically, the entire region is under my control. Super! A new law regarding elections has finally passed in my country. And now, they're ahead of me, the first free elections. Well, in the first elections, the church definitely got the most votes. So I decided to weaken it systematically now. The first migrants are starting to arrive. Unfortunately, it's quite late because I forgot about the cultural exclusion laws. I really regret not initiating migration earlier, but I was sure I had enacted the right laws. More people are coming to me. More people! My block of powers has moved from 7th place to 3rd. Well, I wonder who is still stronger than me. France and Great Britain, of course. No surprise there. The next country I'm invading is Venezuela, but this will be a long war because Russia has joined in. Yeah, I must admit that playing with a focus on vassals keeps my diplomacy very busy. I also need to set up pro-Spanish lobbies in the countries I've conquered. This should speed up the process of taking away freedom from my protectorates. They belong to my market, but they currently don't pay me tribute. At this point, I'm pulling nearly 200,000 in income from my diplomatic packs, which is a lot. Meanwhile, my gold mines bring in only 140,000. Still, I'll allow myself to expand the navy. As before, 30 light ships, this time monitors, and 10 heavier ones. This should almost triple the prestige I get from my navy. It's probably the fastest and cheapest way to boost prestige. My country is suffocating. I'm running out of workers. I deeply regret not focusing on migration earlier. Oh well, I'm still learning this game. I somehow peacefully managed to get Ecuador to join my bloc of states. Now I'll forcibly make it my protectorate. I really wish I understood this mechanic better. I can now build my first coal-powered power plants, so I'll build a coal mine. Obviously, coal is the best natural energy source. Electricity is crucial because it allows for better production methods. Even though 10,000 people are coming to my provinces every week, it's still not enough. But it's so little, tiny, even less, and some are leaving. Unfortunately, my queen has passed away and her son has taken the throne. But at least he has a decent heir. You could say the queen fulfilled her role. Spain is earning quite a lot, especially from diplomatic pacts. Basically, all of South America is under my control, with all its most important countries. I let Mexico go because in Mexico's place, I have Brazil now. And realistically, Mexico and France have an alliance, and I didn't feel like waging that war. I'm the fourth global power, though I may not have a high GDP, but honestly, I messed up with the population. I should have focused on migration much earlier. Lesson learned for next time. My economy is simply suffocating. There are no unemployed people, and I still lack workers. 100,000 peasants is practically nothing. I also have fairly modern laws. Even women have property rights. Children aren't banned from working, everything's fine. More importantly, I've transformed Spain entirely peacefully, without rebellions. I know rebellions speed things up, but I just hate them in this game. In this episode, however, I restored the Byzantine Empire starting from tiny Greece. If you want more, subscribe to my channel.